Let's maybe tackle the window now. So let's grab maybe the bottom windowsill. Okay, we'll hide everything else. Okay, and this should be pretty simple as well. Let's put an unwrap on, go to edge. And for this one, we'll see if we can do it in one shot. So let's maybe split it just down the side here. Just gonna grab an edge there and loop it. Okay, and we'll continue this underneath. So control click that edge there. Convert that to a seam. Same cut on the other side. Loop that. Actually, it's this one, I think. And control click that edge and split that. Okay, and now we'll just go to polygon and pelt map it quickly. Okay, and these sides here are going to be a little bit angled up, and that's because this is tapered. Okay, so it is flattened out. Let's reshape it there, and we'll relax it one more time just to make sure. Okay, also just flip it around here and scale it down. Okay, so that's the UVs on that piece. Let's put our checker on. Okay, and it's continuing the right way over the edge here as well as the front and underneath. Okay, so you really don't need to use a bunch of different mapping techniques to flatten out your scene. A lot of things can be mapped pretty much in the exact same way, just depending on where you cut the seams. Okay, so that's going to take care of that piece. Move on to the rest of the window here. Let's grab maybe this frame piece around it. Okay, this is pretty much just a box, so let's do this quickly. And once again, I've deleted the side and back polygons here, so we just kind of have just the inner polygons and the front polygons. Okay, and I'm not really sure why I left these edges here, so let's get rid of these quick. Let's go into the front view for a second. Just gonna drag through these edges and these edges, do a loop, and control backspace them out. We don't really need those in there. Okay, so this will be really simple. We're just going to flat map this one. Okay, so another unwrap directly into the unwrap window. Grab all the polygons, flat mapping, and OK. And we'll go down to edge, turn off synced element, and we'll just stitch this back together by selecting the outside edges. Sorry, the inside edges. So let's grab one of those bottom ones there and stitch it. Grab one of these ones here and stitch it. Okay, and that'll be the face here as well as the top. These ones here are these two side pieces on the inside, and once again we can't stitch them onto this edge because it's going to overlap right here. Alright, so we're just going to leave those separated out. Okay, I'm just going to park it over here on the side, and I'll just leave this one here. Okay, and let's flip this up the right way. Let's grab all the polygons, rotate it. And we'll scale it down a little bit and just make sure that our UVs are the right way up. Okay, which they are. Okay, so that's good for that piece. Just apply our orange shader. And let's move on to the frames here, and we can do them pretty much in the same way. Okay, so we'll grab this bottom one, hide it and select it. And this does have the side polygons. It doesn't have the back, but it does have the side. Okay, so what we're going to do here is pretty much just split the corners so we can break each one of the sides off. Okay, so once again, another unwrap. And in edge selection, just grab an edge there and loop it on each corner. Okay, loop there and split those up into seams. Okay, so we just have a seam going around each corner from the inside to the back corner. Now into polygon, and just quickly, let's just pelt map them for the sake. Okay, so give those a quick pelt map there. You could also use unfold if you want to. Okay, so we'll just sort our pieces out here and relax them down. Okay, Okay, just like that. And for this one, I don't think we'll actually attach them together. There's really no good way to do that. We'd have to attach the ends and it'll just be sticking off in weird angles. So we'll just leave them stacked up maybe in a pile here. Just gonna straighten these out. And relax them one more time. Okay, so we have the top, we have the bottom, and we have each side. Okay, so we'll just kind of put them together here. Let's rotate these. And we'll just kind of stack them underneath the other two pieces. Okay, just like that. Scale them down as well. And later on we'll have to scale these pieces way down to fit everything in the seam, but we're just going to leave it like that for now and just kind of fit it into the 0 to 1 grid. Okay, so we'll apply our checker, make sure everything looks good. All right. And let's unhide all here. And I believe I cloned that piece when I made that top window. And maybe not, it looks a little thicker, so we're actually going to need to map this top one separately. Okay, so let's unhide all, or hide selected, sorry, and we'll just map this the same way. Okay, so let's just split the corners. And this can definitely get a little tedious on you. It's pretty much the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, so let's loop those edges and split them apart. Back to polygon, and the exact same thing here. Okay, I'll try to pick up the pace a little bit here. Okay, so pel map those 4 sides, relax them down. Straighten them out. And just stack them together. Okay, so we'll line them up pretty much the same way as we had the other ones. And you can really lay these out any way you like. Okay, let's put them over here maybe. Okay, and that should take care of the window frames. Okay, and we also have some trim around it, as well as obviously the glass and these little strips on the actual glass. Let's do these strips first. Just gonna grab the center one here, and it actually just goes right through the other piece there. I didn't bother to cut it out. Okay, and these are also just the front and side polygons here. Okay, so we can just flatten this out really quick. Let's do it with automated mapping. Okay, so select all those polygons, flat mapping, okay, and then just quickly stitch them back together. Okay, so stitch. Okay, just like that. And you can relax it down if you want. I probably won't do much on something this simple. Okay, and you can just stack that wherever you want. Let's just leave it down here. Okay, that'll take care of one of them. Let's try to save the UVs off this. I might better apply to the other ones. We'll just call this, I don't know, strip maybe, and save. Okay, and we'll just try to replace it on the other piece here and see if it works. Okay, so let's grab this horizontal one, apply an unwrap, and load those UVs. Okay, and we'll open up the editor window here. And it looks good. Let's just maybe relax it because it might be a slight bit longer. Okay, so just hit relax there and it'll fix the proportion. Okay, so we'll just save this one out. Call this strip 2. Save that. And we'll just apply the same UVs to the ones in the bottom window here. Okay, so let's grab this guy. Load and unwrap on there with the strip UVs. Let's grab this one, unwrap, and load the strip 2 UVs. Okay, let's check it with our texture. Okay, that's good. All right, so that'll take care of the window frames. Let's do the glass. Lots of times you won't actually need to map the glass. You can just use a procedural for that, but in case you want to put dirt or something on it, it's a good idea to lay down some UVs on it. And these are actually just planes in there. It's also a good idea if you're actually going to be able to see through the window to have some thickness on it so you can get some refraction on it, but just for the sake of this, let's just planar map these. Okay, so another unwrap. Just grab that polygon there. Whoops. There we go. And we'll just do a planar map. And that's pretty good. We don't even need to relax. We'll scale it down a bit. And the same thing on the bottom here. Grab that glass. And we'll just planar map that polygon. Okay, and if you want to, you can scale it down a bit. Okay, so let's select both these pieces. Apply our checker. Okay, and they're good to go, so we'll just apply that orange material. And we'll take care of this trim piece around the window as well. Okay, so let's grab that. Hide unselect it, get rid of those selection brackets with J. And again, this is very, very simple. Okay, so we'll do the exact same way as the other pieces. We're just going to split the corners and then flatten each of the three pieces out. Okay, so select the corner edge, do a loop, convert it to a seam, and the same thing over here. Convert that to a seam. Okay, and we'll just grab a polygon here at the top, expand it, pelt it, and the same for each side. Okay, relax them down. And we'll straighten this guy out and relax them one more time. Okay, we're not going to attach these together as well. We're just going to stack them next to each other. Okay, so we'll give that a rotation and just kind of stack it like we did with the window frame. Okay, and grab all three of those and scale them down together. Okay, we're looking pretty good here, so that should take care of the window. All right, sorry I went a little fast on that. It's just the same thing over and over again. Okay, so we got a few more pieces here. We have the ladder as well as the door handle, and both of those are turbo smooth. We also have the drain pipe here, the clips, and this grate. Okay, so we're getting close, but we still have a bit of work to do. Okay, so let's go over here and we'll grab the grate. Click Z on one of those to zoom in, and let's start with these little slots here. And as you can see, these aren't subdivided. The outside rim is, but we'll do slots first. So let's just select all these holding control. Okay, we'll hide unselect it, and I also have a plane here in the bottom that's just blocking the hole, so let's hide that as well. And we'll just start with the bars here. Okay, and rather than doing these one at a time and applying an unwrap to them, let's just actually attach them all together and we'll unwrap it all at once. Okay, so we'll just select one piece here. Let's go over to attach and we'll just attach all these. Let's actually hit the dialog box here. Select all the grate slats and attach them. Okay, so now it's one object. And let's put on a clear, convert to editable poly, and put on an unwrap modifier. Let's also maybe center that pivot point. Okay, and for this we're just going to use maybe pelt mapping. As you can see, again, there's no bottom polygons or end polygons here. I just have it sliced off. Alright, so let's go over to polygon. Let's grab a polygon on the first one here. Okay, we'll expand that. And just to make this a little bit quicker, rather than using unfold mapping, we're just going to pelt map each of these. And let's maybe just in the top view so it's a little easier to see. Okay. So just grab those polygons on the first piece there and open up pelt. Okay, we'll smooth that over, hit start pelt, and commit. Okay, we'll just do this for each of the slats. Alright, so now it's done. Let's go over and grab this one, expand it, and pelt. Let that pull out, and just keep moving along until you have all of them done. Okay, almost there. Okay, and last one, expand and pelt. Okay, so now that we have all those stretched out, we'll just make this a little bit bigger and sort out these pieces. Alright, so I'm just going to spread them apart here. Okay, that's all of them. So let's grab everything. And we'll try relaxing it down here to start with. Okay, so same settings once again, and relax. Okay, we'll also rescale them, just to make sure. And to get them all in the grid here, let's actually use the pack function. Okay, so we'll go up to Tools, down to Pack UVs. And we'll just maybe change the padding here. This is how far each of the islands will be spaced apart, so we'll take this down a little bit more. Let's do 0.005. And we'll also check off rotate clusters and fill holes. Okay, so everything checked off, hit OK. Alright, that's going to fit everything into the 0 to 1 grid here. Okay. And let's maybe just straighten a few of these out again. So I'm just going to grab all of them and we'll re-straighten. Okay, and then we'll relax one more time. Okay, and this guy got a little twisted here, so we'll just rotate him back into position. Okay, so just hit E there, kind of straighten that out, and just park it in here. Alright, we'll also scale it down just a little bit more to fit completely in the grid. Okay, let's close that. And later on, we'll probably change the layout of these pieces, but I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Okay, so let's close this, turn that off, go back into perspective view, and let's check our checker on there. Okay, so we look pretty good here. There's no distortion on any of these pieces that I can see. Okay, so that'll take care of the slats. Let's unhide all. And now we'll tackle the first of the subdivision pieces, which is the outside of the grate here. Okay, so grab that, hide everything else. Okay, so whenever you have a subdivided pieces like this, I find the best way to map it is to actually collapse the turbo smooth down onto the mesh before you unfold it. That'll just help minimize any stretching. You don't want to just turn it off and then map the low res here and then apply turbo smooth. That's going to stretch out the UVs quite a bit. So the best thing to do is actually put your turbo smooth on, and if you have 2 iterations, just take it down to 1. Okay. Another really important step is to make sure you don't have ice line display checked. If you try to collapse the mesh with that ticked off, it's going to completely screw up the model. Okay, so make sure you always uncheck that so you have the proper or all the edges on the model in the viewport before you collapse it to editable poly. Okay, so 1 iteration, uncheck that, and we're just going to collapse this down to bake that into the mesh. Okay, and now we'll just unwrap this version of it, and later on we'll apply another iteration of turbo smooth to get our 2 back, and this will help minimize any distortion we have or stretching. Okay, so what we're going to do here, let's clear the UVs, add an unwrap, and we'll go to edge, and let's just go in on one of the corners here. I'm just going to grab an edge there, hit Z. Okay, and what we're going to do here is actually split off each side, so let's grab this inside edge here. Okay, and we want the one that's right where the corner of this original piece was, okay, which is where this vertex is right here. Okay, so grab an edge here, we'll do a loop. Okay, like that, and we're going to convert that to a seam. Okay, and we'll do that on each of the 4 corners. Okay, so go over here, grab one of these vertical edges in the center. Okay, hold Control, to select multiples. Okay, and we're just going to loop those. Okay, and convert them to seams. Okay, so now we have the inside split. It's going to allow this to kind of fold out, but we also need to cut it off here one way or the other. Okay, so we'll just do it maybe across here. All right, so we'll zoom in a little closer. Let's turn edges on with F4. Okay, we'll just select an edge here and zoom in. Okay, and we'll start at this edge right here where we left that seam off at, and we'll loop that edge. Okay, and then I'll continue over the side down to the bottom here. All right, so we're going to split that and make it a seam. We'll do the same thing over on this side. Start with that same edge here, loop that and convert it to a seam. Okay, and the same thing down at this side. Okay, just grab that edge there. The same one over on the other side, loop them and convert them to seams. Okay, just like that. And this will allow us to break off each of the four sides and kind of flatten it out here pretty easily. All right, so let's go to polygon. Let's start here. Let's grab a polygon and expand it. And I'm going to use pelt on this as well. It's probably our best option. Okay, so just pull that out. So let me get this out of the way for a second here. And we'll just do this on each side. Okay, so let's grab a polygon on the next piece, expand it and pelt map it. The other end here. And finally this side. So once you have all four pieces there flattened out, we'll just relax them down and straighten them out here. Okay, and again, if you don't have a lot of juice in your machine, you might want to do each of these pieces separately, but I have a pretty powerful machine, so I'm going to do them all at once. Okay, so same settings again. Okay, you might need to hit start relax a few times until they kind of flatten out for you. Okay, and if you have this straighten option, we can actually try that. Let's hit that and then relax. Okay, so pretty much what we had. Let's try to straighten this one out a little bit more. Okay, we can actually even try edge angles here and see if that helps us out. Okay, that straightened it a little bit better. Let's do this one as well. Okay, and the reason why it's having a bit of a problem here straightening out is because we actually need to add another seam. Okay, if we go in on the corner here, you can see this is kind of rounded over, and that's not letting this piece kind of flatten out here. We need to have it split right here for this to kind of fold out straight, and same with this piece here. All right, so let's zoom in here, turn off sync to element, go to edge, and we'll grab this edge right here as well as this one. Okay, and the same thing here, the ones that end on that corner. Okay, and then right click and break. Same thing over at the other end. Grab this edge here, do a loop, and break it. Okay, and now if we go back to polygon, turn on sync to element, and select this piece, it should be able to flatten out fine. So let's go back to face angles and start relax. Okay, you can see the corner there is more of what we want it to be. It's a little more straight. All right, so let's do that on the other piece here. Okay, turn that off, go back to edge, grab those two and break them, and same thing over here. Okay, back to polygon, and just relax it one more time. Just going to rotate this around a little bit. Kind of rotate that one straight. And for these guys here, we actually don't need to do really anything to them. They're pretty much straight. So let's actually try the straighten on those, and this one as well. Okay, and we'll rescale them all at the same time here. Let's just get this out of the way. And we'll just stack our pieces up. And we're not going to worry about trying to stitch any of them together. We're just going to stack them up like this. Let's also scale them way down. And just fit them into the 0-1 grid. Okay, and this one's still a little crooked for my liking, so I'm going to try this again with restraighten. Okay, that time it actually worked fine. Okay, now I'm going to relax it one more time too. And we'll do this piece as well. Okay, so everything looks pretty good there, and I think that's as straight as we'll be able to get it. Alright, so we'll close this, turn it off, and we'll apply our checker. Okay, and you can see that we don't really have any distortion here, even with the subdivision on. Okay, and now when we add a second subdivision here, we're going to have very little movement between these polygons here. Okay, so let's actually collapse this to editable poly. To get rid of the unwrap, we'll put another turbo smooth on, and we'll just leave it at 1 iteration. Okay, as you can see, that really didn't change at all if I turn this off. Okay, so we have virtually no stretching on this, even though it has 2 iterations of subdivision. Okay, and that's usually the way I like to approach anything that's subdivided. Okay, so that'll take care of the outside of the grate. Let's just unhide all here. And let's just chuck that orange material on these pieces as well. Okay, so just drag and drop that, assign to selection. And let's also get this plane here in the bottom. Just gonna grab that, hide everything else. And for this, we'll just quickly map it with a planar map. Just grab that one polygon there in planar map. And that's fine, we'll just maybe scale it down a little bit. And let's also move it maybe up here. Okay, that's good. So I'll take care of the grate, and we'll just move on to some other objects.